Incredible morning. Incredible morning. Just dropped baby boy off, right? Um, and I saw it earlier and I meant to do it a couple days ago and I forgot. And then I just saw it again and I was like, you know what? Let me do it while it's on my mind because I will quickly forget. So let me do it now. When I first saw, I can't even see this. When I first saw this ad, I don't know if y'all listen to Beyonce, but in the formation of Big Free, is it Big Free that said the beginning of that one? And it's like, I did not come to play with you. You know, that's what originally went through my head about RICOMA. But I'm not gonna write that on a post, so I just wrote RICOMA did not come to play with y'all, baby. But and when I saw the ad, what went through my head was, oh baby, RICOMA did not come to play with you, you know? Honey, I saw, so I know RICOMA for embroidery machines. I forget who introduced that name. I want to say it's Alicia, what's her name? Something teacher. She has a pretty pink background on YouTube. I want to say it was her that has RICOMA because I know Angela Jasmina has Melco. But I forget who all, when it comes to the RICOMA machines, it's somebody. So I knew RICOMA for embroidery. And then recently, I saw that RICOMA has a white toner printer. I was like, oh, really? Then I just saw an ad that RICOMA has a DTG printer. RICOMA did not come to play with you. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so crazy to me. But it also made me, also think about one of the things that we constantly talk about when we're talking about business. You have a lot of people who try to provide insight on business as we know it. All we can do is provide insight, like I said, as far as what we know works for us. What works for us may not work for everyone else, as a solution to, people saying, well, hey, I can't, I'm not making any sales. I feel like I'm all over the place, X, Y, and Z. One of the solutions is to niche down, right? So for me, RICOMA, like, I don't know. Now I'm like intrigued to really look into their company to see like where they started from, what else do they have? Because I've always only known them, like I think of RICOMA, I think of embroidery, nothing more, nothing less, right? Um, and now it's like, wait, we have all this other stuff. So now I'm intrigued. Now I want to go on this deep dive to find out their true history because I would have thought that their niche was, they took my spot. I would have thought that their complete niche was embroidery machines. It wouldn't have thought anything of it. So we often, say to niche down. I mean, of course, as you grow, you can add certain things, right? But that whole thing with RICOMA just made me like really think, when is it okay to move outside of your quote unquote niche? Because now that's that's a totally different market that they're tapping into. Hold on, because I'm too close to McDonald's. So let me turn off my Wi-Fi. Like that's literally a totally different market. White toner and DTG. I would have never put those two things with the name RICOMA. Um, but it just shows as far as like growth. Um, I'm not sure if that came from them just listening to their customers and what they were trying to pair with embroidery that they could, provide for them, right? Um, so I don't, it's for me as a business person, I would love to I want to sit down with their developmental team or like their owner or, whoever to just what was it that prompted like that? Cause I'm like, again, I need to go look and see maybe they had other stuff before and I only knew them for embroidery. But it's like, was it customers saying that, hey, I'm looking for this, or my customers are asking for this, and they're just seeking out other options to where they're making it to where it just pairs well, because their customers need it more. So it's like, hey, you're loyal to us, we provide you great service. You need this next thing for your business. Let us be the one to provide it for you. Like I would love to just sit and talk about that process. And if that was the case, it still comes back to niching down as creatives, because you'll start one way for your customers to know who you are, what it is that you do, know that you are a quality company, a quality brand, and then you add. So it's kind of like twofold. It's like, dang, we tell everyone to niche down, but they don't went they don't just went across the board. And it's just crazy because we think of embroidery as just going into fabrics. I guess, DTG is direct to garment, so that is still fabrics. Um, but you can make DTF transfers with it, which that can be put on hard substrates. And then white toner can be used for hard substrates as well as shirts. So I'm pretty sure they'll probably just focus on the garment side of it. But with white toners, you can do so much with it. It's way more than what most people think about when it comes to white toners. Um, but then I'm like, does it pose a problem because they are such a well-known business? With them having it, it creates this, oh, I want this machine, I want that machine for those who are just starting out. Because it's new, it's shiny, and it's like, well, dang, if they're doing this, then it has to be a good market, because why would RICOMA get into white toner printers or DTG printers if it wasn't a good market? So now that can potentially cause an issue for creatives and wanting to do too much. See, I have not seen it. I did not know they had a white toner. I recently saw it because, they must have been promoting it, because it came up in a YouTube video and I had not seen the white toner at all. And I happened to see it in a YouTube ad or YouTube video. Let's see. I think when you're not making too much money is when you need to niche down or you need to increase other things. See, I'm the opposite. They have to invest in what everyone is doing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it has to. Just like small businesses, always looking for a way to make money. True. Incredible morning. Yes, they have other things. I keep looking at their site and the emails I get. They had a live Q&A a few days ago. I didn't attend though. It's to dream on. Oh, they had a live interview with Shanita Nicole. I know she just got their embroidery machine. Yeah, no. Oh no, I've known about it since before Shanita Nicole got hers. No. I'm not talking about her. I'm not talking about. I know Shanita Nicole. No, her name is it's Alicia. She's a teacher and then she has the embroidery machine. Why can't I think of her name? I can't think of her name, but no, it's not Shanita Nicole. I was burning out, wanting to do too much. Thank you. I love it. Um, I did what you told me yesterday about the larger syringe, and my black is now printing. So, so happy. But I now also happy, but I now also have a 7820 printer. Use it for pigment ink, for like regular prints, and things like that, stickers, labels. Use it for your business, to complement your business, to make stickers, labels, I mean, even like temporary cards, thank you cards. So use the 7820 for that. But yeah, so ooh, her ponytail is cute. Oh wait, maybe not. Okay, never mind. The ponytail part was cute, but not the rest of it. What was I saying? But yeah, so it may end up posing a problem to where we as creatives, yes, so crafty teacher, yes, that's what I'm talking about. I think she has RICOMAs, or she's mentioned RICOMAs. I think that's where I first heard the name from, maybe. I don't know. It's someone on YouTube that, I mean, I've known about RICOMA as one of the top brands for embroidery machines. Or was it? No, because I don't think Alexis Galloway uses RICOMA. I think she uses Brother. I don't think she uses RICOMA. Yeah. So, anywho, but I always think, if it's going to make it to where people want to do too much, right? I think that when you're starting out, having too many machines or not allowing one to really work for you when you're starting out and you didn't really give it a valid effort is where a lot of people make a mistake. Or not knowing like maintenance on things. Like when you're getting these bigger machines, it's a lot of maintenance on it. If you're wanting to do DTG, really seeing just like getting used to pressing it and pulling it away. So it's like, I think if you want to start out, you should start out with transfers. And I don't know how they ship without the coating on it, because then my thing is like the next thing after, when you get DTG, is understanding putting the powder on it and then curing it. That's a very important step with DTG and screen print transfers, with white toner transfers, before you invest in a machine. Now that one, I know that you can get to where someone can send you the white toner print, they can send you the part B, and you can learn to marry them before you invest in a white toner printer, because they are quite expensive. But trying out where you're buying transfers first to see if if that's really a market that's going to help you. But it was like, that was just amazing to me to see that they now have a DTG machine. AW uses RICOMA. Maybe that's no, that's I probably maybe that's where, because I was watching AW way before Alicia. I don't know. It's one of them YouTubers that uses RICOMA. But I know for sure Angelina Jasmina is Melco. Alexis is Brother. I know, because I'm thinking about when she says the numbers. I know Alexis is Brother. I'm trying to think what one does Cruise Control use, because he has like the multi heads. I want to say his is RICOMA too. I want to add an embroidery machine and white toner printer. Epson has a white toner. It's about 600. Oh wait, really? That one I did not know. That makes me think that it's going to be only 8.5 inches wide. $600 for what white toners cost. That has to be a small format printer. That can't be the big one. If I'm going to get a white toner, I am not wasting my time on an 8.5 inch wide toner printer. Like, that's what I'm not going to do. Okay, yes, Alexis has brother. I knew, yeah, she uses brother. I knew I wasn't crazy. Yes, my DTG machine, wait, yes, my machines does both DTG, DTF, yep. And the maintenance part can be a bit much. So what made me never really want to get into DTG like that, I watched Kenyon on YouTube, and he was just saying it was a lot, watching him test it and the amount of shirts that he had. He went through the whole pre-treat thing. I could never do the manual pre-treat. That's what's not going to happen. If I ever got a DTG, I'm definitely going to need the automatic pre-treat, because when he was doing just like the DIY pre-treat before his came in, he was having too many inconsistencies. At one point, it had to be rung spun like cotton and stuff. So it was like, to me, new text message. To me, it was way more restrictions than like, to me, like than polyester, than sublimation, because I remember him getting like the wrong batch of shirts, and he was like he couldn't use them because they had to be rung spun, I believe, is what when he first started. I think maybe now it's changed, but because I think you can do, like, there's certain ones you can do DTG. DTG on blends and polyesters and stuff like that. But yeah, I was just like, this. Yeah, you can do color shirts, but it was like just too much. So I watched his, and then when he wanted to get out of doing DTG, I think what's his name? Gosh, he had the vending machines first. Oh God, something the entrepreneur. Oh God, why can't I think of these YouTuber names, and I watch them all the time? He originally started, he had a vending machine, and then he was doing like screen print transfers. If I'm not mistaken, did he do sublimation? I don't know. And then I know he got into DTG, and I think Reyes, there we go. See, y'all be there with me. So y'all gotta help me, alley-oop, yeah, Reyes. So I believe he said he had one and he sold his. So I was turned off about DTG. I was just like, yeah, nobody got time for that. But I was just like, yeah, I don't think I want to get into that. White toner, I did want, but not for what most people use white toner for. I laugh. Those getting all these different machines reminds me of, in my younger days, they end up collecting dust, and 10, 20 years down the line, they end up getting rid of them, wasted so much money. Yeah. Converted DTF printers requires too much maintenance for me. If you don't have, like, if you are on it to where you're really using that, I think I was just listening to the baby's booty, and if I'm not mistaken, she has to clear clog from her DTF printer. So yeah, it's a little bit too much maintenance for me. I don't like high maintenance machines. Sublimation is a little bit, it's not, to me, it's not high maintenance. It's just cleaning the rollers. Other than that, it's smooth sailing for me. Because I don't, to me, eco tank printers are high maintenance. Same, I'd rather pay more for a wire format. In my opinion, white toner images only holds up for a few washes before they start to look old. So that's the thing. I want a white toner, but not for garments. I think everything has its place in how you use it, right? Like for me, I use Photoshop, I use Illustrator, I use Silhouette Studio. I now have Canva, I have Corel. I'm getting back into using Corel Draw. Affinity just doesn't tickle my fancy, right? I literally use all of those for different purposes. I don't use them for the same thing. Like Canva, I don't plan to ever make, as of right now, I don't have any immediate plans to create designs in Canva. For me, I want Canva strictly as my social media content. Someone said you can do like videos and stuff like that from it. So I want it for social media content. That's it. I use Photoshop for photoshopping images, like not creating necessarily designs and stuff, because I'm not that type of designer. There are several types of design. You have to find your, I hate the word lane, because saying lane has been used to me, like towards me, in a negative way, where someone basically instructed me to stay in my lane when it came to ink and paper. So I don't like that term because it's just personal to me, to where it's been used at me negatively. But um now I was thinking about that now, because I'm a whole train of thought. Oh, so for designing, I just have a certain type of design style that I prefer to stay within. Um, I've seen other people designs and they're amazing. That's not my style. So I don't get like to where, oh, whoa, I want to learn how to design like that, because my style works. My clients love my style. When it comes to like flyers, you're going to have some people that do, like, I call them club flyers, and they have all like the lights and the flares and the this and the that. Like, it's a whole bunch of stuff. That's not my style. So when somebody wants that, they can't come to me. And I don't feel any type of way that I can't provide them the type of design they want, because there are different types of designers. I'm cool with that. Um, so I don't really use Photoshop for those type things. I like it for, like I said, photoshopping images. I love it for creating my thumbnails for my videos, creating certain things for my, I do things for my website between Photoshop and Silhouette Studio. Um, and then also, like, for mockups, I like Photoshop for mockups, because I get the professional mockups where I have um, the displacement and it's warped to kind of go around certain things. So that's what I like Photoshop for. Illustrator is great for me to edit down my certain SVG files. I use that as, like, when I want to save things for my website. Silhouettes, SVG, and PDF opens crazy in other programs. So I design in Silhouette. I use Illustrator to open it, save it as a PDF. Um, just resave it from there as an SVG, and then I also save it, like, once I'm there, I'll save it as like my PNG and my JPEG if I'm doing that. So I use it because that is compatible with how you save it from Silhouette. So I use all these programs for different purposes. I don't try to fully design. I rather enjoy designing in Silhouette Studio when it doesn't get crazy. So I think everything has its place. For white toner, I never wanted to use it for shirts. I came from the event planning space. Like, when I really, really got into creating and using my creative talents, it was within event planning. A white toner printer is nothing more than a laser printer, and it has a white, well, before it has a white toner instead of a black, but now all the newer ones are including a white toner and a black toner. But it's just a laser printer. So I wanted one because you can do laser prints. And I used to do a lot of laser prints before, for all sorts of things. And by it being white, you can press it to glass to make fancy invitations. You can print it out and print to colored cardstock. So when you want to put stuff on, color cardstock, it's invitation, and you need to show, that needs to be done in toner, because ink is translucent. Toner is going to sit on top. I wanted a white toner printer or just a laser printer for foiling. I never plan to use my white toner printer for shirts. When I get one, I don't plan to use it for shirts. I want to use it for printing onto colored cardstock, printing onto glass, acrylic, printing onto hard surfaces. I mean, I'll probably do a shirt or two, but it's not my thing. My rolling, I purchased the Caesar color print and the things for shirts because, okay, yeah, if I wanted to be able to do them, I can. So it's it's an option for me. So I brought the vinyl, but my intentions with getting a Roland was never for printing for shirts. It was strictly for vinyl decals, to make helmet decals, car decals, decals for like our business. my yard signs. That's what I got a roll-in for. So I think if you go into it knowing what the purpose is of the machines that you're getting, it doesn't seem as overwhelming, and you will use them for what you like, for that purpose. Yes, I followed him before buying mine, so I knew to get manual pre-treat machine. To get it, oh, I would never get a manual. Heart and Hustle Printing has DTG and embroidery machines. Check his channel. I mean, I'm not into it. Those are people I just kind of came across. I'll check them out. But I'm not into DTG and embroidery like that. Like if I come across you, like I can watch Cruise Control on TikTok, or like whenever he's live, I can sit there and just watch it. It's just something about that sound of the embroidery machines going. I like the sound, but I would never do embroidery. I have a RICOMA. Wait, hold on. Hold on, pump your brakes. Oh, I'm going to their website today. RICOMA got a heat press. Okay, I didn't see you're not too fond of it, but wait, RICOMA got a heat press. Did not know that. Yo, I am look, I really feel like RICOMA did not come to play with you. Baby, I did not know that. I will be on their website today. I did not know that they had all this stuff. And that shows you when, like, I would love to know why you're not fond of it. Okay, they have great customer service, right? But you're not fond of it. Is there something that, like a feature that it doesn't have? Because then that makes me think, when you are so well known and you do something so well, when you move outside of that, does the quality take a hit? Case in point, Silhouette Studio, Silhouette America. I'm a Silhouette. I am a true Silhouette. When I first got it, I fell in love with it. And I've been using Silhouette Studio since version 1.9. 1.9. And I thought it was like the greatest thing back then. Version 2, oh, okay. I was loving version 2. Version 3, it took me a minute to really embrace version 3 until they forced me to. I was still like, there are videos where if you look at the timestamp, version 3 was already out. I was still using version 2. I just refused to move to version 3 because version 2 just worked well for me. Then I moved to version 3 and I was like, okay, version 3.3 works. That was one of my favorites. And then it was certain things that they had. I had to go to version 3.6. 3.8, I never went to because I hated the cloud library, right? So version 3.6 to this day is still my go-to. I can still operate in that one. The only thing I can't do is like save as different file formats. But even back then, I was saving as file formats because you can use like Ideas R Us to save as an SVG. I would use PDF Creator to save as a PDF. I just couldn't save quality PNGs. So that's one of the reasons why I use Illustrator. I would save it as a PDF using PDF Creator, take it over to Illustrator, open it up over there, and then save it as a quality PNG or JPEG image. So, is that my godson? No, it's not him. So I made it work for me, like version 3.6. So it was never like, I didn't, when I'm using mine, I never feel like I'm losing anything because I knew how to work 3.6. And 3.6 works way better than version 4. So I think for me, Silhouette tried to add too much stuff to where version 4 is just, it's ridiculous. I don't like version 4 at all. I use it because I have to. That's what you guys are, have to learn. So I teach it from there, but I prefer version 3.6 all day, every day. And that's where I do my main designing. I thought that they did great as a 12-inch machine and even the portrait. The 15-inch is not that bad, but it has some flaws. That 24-inch, to me, that's just outside of their wheelhouse. I remember at one of the craft conventions seeing Ken Creations and Silhouette School Blog. They were there, and Silhouette was saying something about like a heat press. That thing was the weirdest looking heat press in the world. I'm like, what? Like, I think it's supposed to be like a kind of like an easy press. If y'all don't go sit down somewhere, scrap that. Fire whoever designed that, because that looked a hot mess.com. So I just think that they're trying to do so much that it's outside their wheelhouse. I don't see a lot of people talking about their alpha machine and like how that works. And even when they did, it used to drip and stuff like that. I just don't think they have the resources to really invest in the development and of these machines. The mint machines, like, okay, you know, I haven't had any issues with when it comes to the mint whenever I have used it. Still don't understand the purpose. What was the purpose of the Curio? Why they couldn't add some of those features? Because tonight, Miss Gucci Crafts is going to mess with me about one of the things that the Curio has that the Silhouette Cameos don't have. But it's cool. I'm not worried about that little tool. Like, we still rocking and we're going to do better than her, than the Cricut. But I just think that they bit off more than they can chew. And we do that sometimes with machines, or not sticking to, like, not saying you have to stay in that, but make sure that when you're ready to add something else, you can make it quality. Like, you can really invest time, research in developing that part of your business. I only use Canva for flyers and mock-ups. Oh, not to get the manual. Okay, yeah. Yes, that's why I want the Roland, not for shirts. I agree. Research, research, research. What you're getting into with the equipment you want to add to your business. Man, I did not know that. I now need to go look at their site. I don't hear people talk, but that lets me know too. Like, you don't see people like I YouTube. Like, I watch YouTube more than I watch regular TV. So to not see anyone really talking about it, to not see it in groups and people saying that that's the heat press they're using. But whenever I hear RICOMA, I hear embroidery machines. That's why I thought that was just their niche. Another reason why I'm also trying to not talk about sub so much, that's not my niche. Like, sublimation and selling paper and stuff, although I love being able to provide you guys with a quality product that, you know, I've tested and I can assist you with, sublimation is not my passion. Mine is really the paper stuff, print and cuts, paper, you know, and designing. That's where my passion is. Oh, and foam board. Y'all know I love me some foam board. She's like, RICOMA wants all your coinage. He presses too. Wow. I didn't like that the top platen has a lip. Ooh, so I can't press with my board. Also, no way to open it once it closes. Oh, wow. You have to wait until the time runs out or turn it off and on. Wow, really? They don't have a set button? Oh, so yeah, with my auto press, you just hit the set button and it releases the magnet. I'm a Silaholic for real, for real. I started with the second machine and brought the 3 twice. That's my everyday, well, your everyday machine is your 3. So I have 6. I have 3 originals. I have a 2, I have a 3, and I have a 4. So I have 6. My originals are my favorite, although I may have to give up my originals. Well, no, I can probably only use my original on my laptop that still has Windows 10, because, or is it, it's an old program. I'm not sure if it's Windows 10, XP, one of those, because my mom went to try and use the original on her laptop, which has Windows 11 and with all the updates, and it's not picking up. She got the USB hub and it's not picking up. So I have to go to her house to see if it is like what's going on with it. But there's something where, I mean, it's just not picking up. So I think the original just will not work with the newer programs, which is why I'm glad I still have my laptop that has the old version of Windows. Use my Roland for hard substrates, specifically signs, not shirts. Yep, that's what I wanted my Roland for. If it weren't for you, wait, it wasn't for your tutorials on silhouettes. Me too. I'm always on YouTube from my phone to the laptop to the TV. Yeah. I think A-Dub did a comparison review with RICOMA heat presses and Heat Press Nation and one more. Oh, I missed that one. And I watched A-Dub. I missed that one. Good morning. I saw on Auntie Tay's video within the last 2 weeks, she was using RICOMA's heat press. Oh, I haven't. Yeah, I have to catch up on some Auntie Tay stuff. I love her. I love her personality. I've been, because she's one of my like old school go-tos, and I kind of go to this, but it's like I'm trying to get into some newer YouTubers. So I've been watching like a lot of people's content. I'm trying to think, when was the last time? I think the last time I watched Auntie Tay, it's been a minute, because I know I was watching when she was breaking down the whole Gabby Petito thing, and she was making like the Mickey ears. She had some new files for that. So it's been a little minute since I watched Auntie Tay, but I didn't know that she did one. So I got to go back. So within the last 2 weeks, okay, I got to go check out this RICOMA heat press. And that's the thing too, like really looking at heat presses and certain features. Like she said, it has a lip. You can't release it. Like you have to turn it all the way off to release the magnet. That's crazy. Yes, I was worried that when I got a new computer, I'll have issues with my older machines and printers and with the change to 5G. 5G is a big change. The 7720, 7710s, like those, they don't work on 5G. My mom, her alarm system wasn't working on the 5G either. Xfinity had to do something where she had basically dual bands and she had both of them. But yeah, certain ones, the 7710, 7720, like all those older Epsons, they don't work on 5G. So that's the one, like when you have to make upgrades and make changes, when they start to change things like that, like the way your internet runs, when computers make changes and they have updates. My Windows 11 has done maybe 3 updates within the past month and a half. I think I've had to go through like 3 different updates. So it's, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, speaking of updates, so here is another thing when it comes to setting up your workforce printers, which I'm going to do a whole video about. I had someone who did a firmware update while her refillable cartridges was in the printer. Don't do that. So I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do an updated video when you're setting up your 7820, 7840s. Another reason why you need to set it up with the Epson cartridges is so that you can keep those cartridges for firmware updates. Before, I would say, you set it up with it, you put your refillable cartridges in, and then once those run out, take the chips off of the Epson one, put them on there. I'm going to make an updated video. I'm probably going to take my old video down completely, save those cartridges. Because if you have to do a firmware update, put the Epson cartridges back in there. It's doing the firmware update will not keep you from using refillable cartridges. It will not keep you from using third party. But if those third party cartridges are in the printer, when you do the firmware update, it's going to kill those chips only. So if you're going to do a firmware, if you don't have a set of Epson cartridges, go and get a set of Epson cartridges, get the cheapest ones, which is like the standard ones to put in, and let that be the one that you use whenever you're doing firmware update. Or if you have like an old set of refillable chips that only have like a couple prints back like left on it, use those. Once you do the firmware update, you can put new chips on it and it will read. But if those chips are on it, when you do the firmware, it is going to kill, even if it's a brand new pair of chips, it's going to kill those chips and you'll have to put new chips on it. So that's one of the things that I'm going to do a video on when it comes to doing firmware updates and if you're using third-party cartridges. All right, I'm here. I need to go get my frappe. So I'm going to go. I've been sitting in this car talking to you guys for like 40 minutes. Just they're probably like, why is this girl sitting here in the parking lot? Just sitting there. She's not moving or nothing. Anybody come to the car or anything. So I'm going to go and get my morning fix. McDonald's line was too long. They only have one side open. I was not going over there. So I had at Wawa's to get my caramel crunch frappe or frappuccino, whatever you want, frozen cappuccino. And then I will be on with you guys. I have to finish designing my shirt for tonight's battle. If you guys don't know, I will be on Gucci Craft's platform for Battle of the Blades, round 2, fight. We did it. We did this last year. We're doing it again this year. And we are going to go head to head, Cricket versus Silhouette. Y'all don't want to miss it. We had a blast last time. Yes. So if you still, okay, I still have my originals that came with the printer. Can I use those? Did you use the originals to set up your printer? If you did not use the originals to set up the printer, those chips are dead. You can't use them. They're never going to read them. But if you use those to set them up and you just have them off to the side, yes, you can use that to do your firmware update. Okay, yes, then yes, use those. When you need to do the firmware update, use those to do it. Don't leave your third-party chips in there. It's going to kill them. She says, oh no, there's too much. I mean, that's what happens when you use, I mean, it's crazy to me where people go like, oh, this is too much for this, but you're using these printers in a way that they were not intended to be used. So it's going to take some maintenance for them because that's not what they are meant for. Okay, so of course we're both going to say we won. It's really not. They're different machines. Like let's just be totally honest. They are different machines. At the end of the day, they do the same things. It's your perspective on which one wins. Like I'll tell you now, for the print cut that one of the print cuts that we're doing, or one of the things that we're doing it on cardstock. Me, for personal preference, I prefer not to turn the setting up to cut through in one pass. So it's going to seem as if it takes more to cut through 65-pound cardstock because I personally prefer to do 2 shallow cuts versus 1 cut. I might do 1 and kind of put that, get out of my own head and do at least 1 of them where it is a cut. But I personally always do double cuts whenever I'm doing cardstock. That's a personal preference of mine. It's not anything with the machine. I'm pretty sure there's a setting to be able to cut all the way through. I choose not to. And then, for the way that the Cricut blade is, I think for going into certain corners, just straight up, it works. Can I do that with my Cameo? Yes, but I may have to do things like turn on line segment overcut, which adds to the time. So Cricut would be able to cut the more intricate ones in a faster time. But Cricut's motor is more like a real plotter, like a GravTech, a US cutter, the way that it moves. Silhouette Zone is not quite like that. So, it's not going to cut. That's the same way with the Cricut. Cricut's great, but Cricuts don't compare to a GravTech or a US cutter. So I think it just really depends on your needs. So it's all in just fun. Because I always say I say we cut faster. She said hers cuts faster, but because you can't, what Silhouette's speed of 10 is different from what Cricut's own is. So you can't really compare that because you don't know like what their speed is. So hey, I'm just arriving. Are you getting into, oh no. I like it. I like watching embroidery. I won't be getting into embroidery. No, that's not my area. That's not my ministry. Okay. But I love to watch it. Like I like the sound of embroidery machines. I like what it can do. I breathe. Like I know I can sit here and probably give you, other than like hands-on, like me doing, well, I can't say that because I have done hands-on because I've used one and I kind of just hit it and watch it stitch. All the stuff as far as like, uh with like the interface, the backing, using water soluble pens, talk about hooping it and different hoops. I can tell you about, needles. I can't tell you about like fixing it. I know, like, when your files and then digitizing it. I literally help someone, like when it came to Silhouette Studio, to be able to take it over to their program to digitize for embroidery. I know all of this stuff, but I will never purchase an embroidery machine. It's just not my ministry. I have no desire to do those. I'm gonna let somebody else do that. I came in late. I missed the 5G 4G conversation. I have a 70. If your internet is on 5G, your machine probably won't work via Wi-Fi. Less pressure, multiple cuts with any cutter for intricate cuts works better. Yeah, that's just how I work. Like, so if she does hers in one, it's going to seem like, her Cricut beat my Silhouette, but that's how I prefer to cut. Off topic, I asked a question about my printer not allowing me to air print or print from apps from both my 7720s yesterday. I had to call Epson in 45 minutes. I'm back in business. Oh, okay. I love when you and Gucci battle. I need that tutorial on Silhouette digitizing. No, so you can't digitize in Silhouette. You create your file in Silhouette. So she wanted to, so that she can save the SVG to open in her digitizer program. You can't digitize in Silhouette. You just set your file up as a vector file in Silhouette. All right, let me go and get my coffee. Where is my mask? Go get my coffee because I have to set up my table and whatnot so I can put my cameo there so I can be ready for tonight's battle. It starts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Exactly. I only know, and that was the whole part of this in the beginning. So go back and watch if you're just joining. I only ever thought of RICOMA as embroidery. I recently, which somebody told me they've had it for years. I didn't know it's been out for a few years. I just recently discovered they have a white toner printer. And then now they have all these ads because they were offering, I think, free shipping and something else. RICOMA has a DTG printer, which they say, of course, you can also use for DTF. They just recently found out that RICOMA has heat presses. Did not know that. So I'm going to be on a deep dive on RICOMA to find out what the heck else do they have, because they've been so, like, I felt like their brand has been built around embroidery machines. I would have never thunk it that they would have all these other machines. Like, that's almost saying like, oh, RICOMA now has a craft cutter. And I'm like, okay, what you doing with a craft cutter, So yeah, that's kind of, but if you really think about it, brother, because I mean, it's brother scan and cut. Brother has sewing machines. It seems natural to me that brother would have an embroidery machine. But brother also has the DTG. They have the brother scan and cut. Um, uh, what else? Not DTG. The they have a wait. Does brother have one? I know Epson. Wait, brother might. I know there's a big. I'm thinking about something else. What's the other big one that brother has? Is it DTG? But brother has like some other things outside. But for me, originally, brother was sewing machines. Oh, regular printers, because I had that's the printer that I had before I got my Epson. I had a um I had a Canon when I was in the Air Force. Once that died, which I love my Canon printer, like that. Oh my God, the prints on that was just amazing. I ended up getting a brother only because you can, at that time, that's the only one I knew of as far as getting like remanufactured cartridges, like cheap cartridges. And then once that one died, I got my Epson. So I did have a brother printer for a long time. So it's kind of crazy that like I've had all these brother things, but yet I still think of brother as sewing machines. But I know of everything that they have. So it's just crazy. Like I just associate certain companies with certain things, even if they do other stuff. I just don't look at them like that. So like for me, I got to get y'all out of this. I don't want people to think Shakia the Professor or think HS Inc. and only think sublimation. I'm trying to figure out how to change that narrative without trying to sell everything. Like, yeah, y'all keep asking me about blanks, about vinyl. Paper, I do plan to get because that's my passion. But I don't know. Like, I just don't want y'all to think of me as only sublimation. I like, and even when it comes to designing, I'm great at silhouette, but I don't want to be known as just silhouette. Like I just want to be known as creating great creative designs. So yeah. All right, let me go. Um, oh yeah, brother hasn't. Yeah, he's like that's so funny because I did have embroidery machines. I associate brother with printers, even though I have a brother embroidery machine. Yeah, and see, I was kind of opposite. I think of my grandmother had a brother's sewing machine. So I've always, like, when I first got introduced to it, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like how you were first introduced. So maybe most of you guys were introduced to me as sublimation and don't realize I do so much like other stuff. But my grandmother had one, and that's what I immediately go to when I think of brother is a regular sewing machine. Well, you're the queen when it comes to silhouette tutorials. I learned things I never knew I wanted to do. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That lets me know that I'm doing my job when it comes to that. When you're and people in my class, I have one young lady who just joined my program, and I will go and say like, okay, y'all have any questions? And she's just like, look, I didn't know what to ask because I thought I knew silhouette, and you showing me some stuff where I'm like, well, dang, it can do this. And then she was saying just my thought process of how I put together designs. And she's like, I didn't know what to ask. I was just over here like with my mouth wide open, in amazement of what you can do. So I'm glad that y'all do see me as that, because that's my main thing is the way that you can put designs together. It's not just about the program. It's, I think, my style of designing is what sets me apart. So I was never, look, like I've been talking, I was never hesitant about it. I did not really have a desire to print in-house. I didn't have the space for it. Getting another printer, to be honest, I knew that it would cause issues in my household because now I'm adding yet something else, right? So in my mind, I didn't want to, because I didn't want to have to, like, that's all different things than what I use for my other ones. So when you're doing summation, yes, I was doing shirts with vinyl. I can have cotton shirts. Now to do sublimation, I have to get polyester shirts. I have to get a bunch of white shirts. So now that's adding more shirts to our house. I can't just use all the mugs and tumblers that I've had that I went to Walmart, brought all this stuff to put vinyl on. I can't use any of that for sublimation. I can't use any of the plaques or wood or foam board, all this stuff that I have. I could not use any of that, right? So for me to full on do sublimation and get this machine, like I now have to bring in so many other substrates. I knew my husband was not going for that. So I like to just keep it for what I need it for, Cheer bows was great. Small, already had glitter vinyl or just having ribbon, being able to do it for stuff like that. Using it for birthday ribbons, because the other thing that I really wanted was the hot stamp, the hot foil, because here in Miami, there's probably big other places too, but when they have baby showers, they would have like it's a boy, it's a girl. They would put like the date for whatever the baby shower was. You fold it, it becomes like a little pin, or you put it behind a corsage. So I did not want necessarily a hot stamp one. I'm like, okay, what else can I do? So I did the ones with like um, principal transfers for lights and putting that on ribbon, principal transfers for darks, putting that on ribbon and making those. And then sublimation just made it easier because you can press right to the ribbon. You don't have to do the Jet Pro and all of that stuff. So I like for other people to just print them out for me and then I can do whatever with them. And then of course, ebony and sublimation came because designing for anything else, my design skills proved to be very helpful in a sublimation group, even though I wasn't doing sublimation directly. I use my 7720s for pigment ink. The setup is the same, exact same. So I was already the ish when it comes to 7720s. Like I know those printers, or the 7720, 7710, I know those like the back of my hand. I had the 7620 also. So just my knowledge of that, and people were using that printer for sublimation, I could still help them. So I was always still the bomb.com and everything that I did when it got into it. But in order for me to help where they needed help at and to be able to really provide it, had to get my first one, and then that turned into this. And then now I'm very grateful for it because here I am now where I have a very successful brand that really, I can't imagine my husband going into a different industry. He's worked in that industry from like the lowest position that they have possible to becoming a director. So we understand growth, and we love the world of sports entertainment and working there. So the thought of him leaving and going into a different company and like just that environment when the pandemic hit, it's like, ooh. So this makes it to where it was just a great transition. So me putting in that work 2 years ago made it to where we can have a very successful business now, and a very trustworthy and a very knowledgeable business now. But I don't want to be known as just sublimation. I'm trying my best to like not say move away from it, go back to what most people came to find my platforms from, and then maybe introduce some of those things to those who are just sublimation. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe and warm. For those experiencing the icy weather, if you can't get out today, watch a video, give a thumbs up, and comment to help the channel. Thank you. Hello, Hans. I'm late. Went back to the beginning. Melco has a DTG. And a printer cutter as well. I did not know that. See? They all supply multiple things. Mel has a DTG and printer cutter as well. Okay, so I read that one. OMG, I'm playing Tetris in my studio apartment with this big bone sublimation machine, F570, a heat press, easy press, Cricut Cameo, and a 2-year-old with all her toys. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Oh, and an embroidery machine. That is a lot. My husband put me and my supplies out of the house. I had to get me a she shed. Now I've outgrown that, and I'm also using our garage. But I really want another sub printer. You want when you say another one, like another small format desktop, or you want like a big, big, big one? Oh, you're supporting from both your channels. Thank you. All right, but I'm about to get like no, for real, I gotta go. I gotta hit the end button on y'all. I gotta go get my. I've been on here for an hour, sitting in a parking lot for an hour talking to y'all. I gotta go. All right. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity, be incredible, and visit my website, shop.hsaint365.com. Peace.